All right. We live, Mark.
Hey.
My bad. All right. So sorry for the late start. Computer was updating. But for everybody that's gonna be watching, welcome to the We Got Questions podcast with Mike and Lee. Lee's not here today because her grandfather passed away, so she has to, attend to his funeral and everything like that. So Lee, we most likely be back with me next week, so we'll get some stuff going there. But I got my homie B from Barkus here with me to hold it down.
Well,
POP, hold it down. All right, so before we even get to all the topics and everything today, just want to give a little bit about you and who you are to the people on my side.
Oh, that's the worst question you could have asked me.
Really?
Yeah. I'm nobody. I'm just B for Barkus. And that is literally it. Like, there's nothing else to it.
Right there for you in the private chat.
Well, to the show, not the chat.
Okay. So I'm going to go live on the Tiki of Talks real quick. My headphones was acting crazy, so I'm going to switch them out in a second. But give me 2 seconds. Gotta go live on the TikTok. All right, Major Goji, have you ever thought about for yourself doing a personal podcast? And if you haven't, or if you have, what would you want it to do?
No. To me, podcasts tend to be or more successful podcasts tend to be very niche in what they talk about. Like the podcast that I follow will be talks about like non-monogamy, and they have like hundreds and hundreds of episodes on just that. I feel like there's nothing that I can talk about that could be so in-depth that I can talk about various different sides of it for hours and hours and hours. Like, it would be something one week, something else another week. And to me, if you're doing it for the point of capturing target audiences, being so broad doesn't always do it, so there's nothing that like I like being a guest on someone's stuff. Like, if there's topics I know we're going to talk about and stuff, like, I'll jump in and give my 2 cents. But as far as like me hosting and carrying and doing a show week after week, I leave that to the pros. Y'all good at that. You guys have a passion that I do not possess.
That's understandable. I guess for me personally, like it wouldn't necessarily be a passion of mine in a way. I think it used to be one, but now it's just normal to me now. I just feel like it's just easy to do. Like, more or less, like a passion for me is, it's gonna sound stupid right now. It probably is a passion, because I think I get excited to do this. So I'm about to say, like, a passion usually something that you just get excited for, extremely excited for, but it's something that I'm just enjoying myself and priding myself on, trying to help grow and continue to push forward. So so I guess what our conversation is starting off is basically talking about, for me personally, mental health and relationships. Like, I guess and I don't mean just dating or sexual relationships. It is any type of relationship, whether it's friends, whether it's children, whether it's your friends, co-workers, relationships, partnerships, however you want to look at it, marriages, all that stuff. Like, I guess what would be mental health of those? Like, how do you feel like you should enter a relationship? Like, what should you do for yourself to even compare it? And this probably just from the eyes of you and how you feel as far as like how it could potentially go. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have headphones on. What did I take that off? But did you hear the gist of what I was saying?
Yeah. Like, how do I approach? Like, how would you approach?
That's better, right?
Relationships. Now you sound like you're in a can.
Huh?
You sound like you're in a can.
Oh my god.
what that was.
All right, continue on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like when you're saying in mental health in a relationship or entering a relationship, I think people should kind of take a step back and just address mental health in general, like regardless of relationships. Like when you talk about relationships, like are you talking in general, the way that you connect with people, or a specific type of relationship? Because I think that mental health is something that needs to be always addressed, at any point, whether you're in a relationship or not. That's something that should always be maintained, and do what you can to make sure that that's always healthy.
Right.
Right.
I'm gonna try out these headphones right here. Let me see what happens if I use that. But love one. Come on, I forgot to change my title. Don't say gaming with my bro.
That's annoying. That's annoying. You can't hear me, can you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Okay.
You're clear.
All right, cool. All right.
It definitely sounds like you on a gaming headset, though. Like,
do I? It just sound like real.
It's clear though. It's clear, but you sound like you're on a gaming headset.
Okay. All right. So, basically, I guess what the question would be, just like, what would you, if you just, what's your approach to mental health with anything? As far as that, I would say let's be more direct. Mental health with friends, like, with family, but friends at the same time. Like, what would you be your mental health approach to us?
That is such a tricky question because I'm not really understanding what's being asked. I still maintain that mental health is something that should be a constant thing that people work on. You know how people like are in relationships and then they break up and then they enter that phase of I'm going to work on me now. Mm-hmm. Like, that is something that should never stop. That is something that should always persist, whether you're in a relationship or not. Mm-hmm. Why enter a relationship with somebody and then just stop working on yourself, your development, your mental health, or whatever that, because it's almost like a hyperbolic term, but to say like working on self, like whatever that encompasses, why would you halt that? Because of the relationship that you're in. Right. So like other things that we really should be thinking about is access to mental health, because we can't have conversations about this stuff and not think about intersections of class, right, intersections of physical ability, because that's another thing, education and stuff like that. Like, all that stuff runs tangents with whether or not somebody is going to have access or not. Right. If you want to work on, if we're to have a conversation about mental health in any community, but just like say in the United States in general, those things have to be addressed right along with it. Right. Because it's not enough for me to say like, oh yeah, like you should do this, that, and the third to maintain a positive mental attitude. Meanwhile, half the population can't survive. Yeah. Like, the pressures are building. Inflation is going through the roof. The housing market's about to crash. And it's just like all sorts of stuff that would that impact people on the day to day. That would either restrict your access to those things. And I think if we're to have those conversations, that those systemic issues really need to be addressed. Okay, so I guess I never really thought about it as far as that, but I do look at it like, I guess with my mental health approach would be to it is not necessarily that I'm going through anything in particular, but it's the constant adjustments and change of y'all. Like, everybody changes throughout the years, times, whatever it is, just in your own personal development and where y'all going at in y'all lives. So it's almost like, it's not that there's any, like I said, it's not the approach of something is wrong with anybody or wrong with anything. It's more or less, what's going on, Rain? I'm live on the podcast on YouTube, so if you want the link, I'll send it to you in a quick second. But it's just the approach of
just seeing you guys grow, and how do I grow with that? You know, like how do I evolve into what you guys are? You know, like, and that's just, I feel like that's something that's a constant thing. Like everybody changes throughout the time. Is it you changing for the best or you changing for the worse? I feel like us as friends, what's going on? Hey everybody. Okay, I'll send it to you. I feel like, what's going on?
Yeah, I need you to send me that link too. So
send you what link? Oh, to the podcast?
To the actual, yeah.
Oh shit! I think I sent you the invite for people to come.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I don't want
that's
that.
an accident. So, but once again, I was saying like, 1 second, everybody. Do you follow it on YouTube?
I do.
Yeah, if you go to there, you should be able to share the link out from there. What's going on?
It's not.
Tori, Torai. But what was I saying? Basically, we have had friends that was in our circle that we are no longer friends with because of maybe their development and where they were going at in their lives that we didn't agree with. You know, like, you and even people we've grown up with that just we're not all on the same page. You know, like we're all on different pages, so we had to mentally adjust ourselves through that too. You know, like everybody, the core group kept themselves together, and it was like we respect each other. You know, people are not disrespectful. I guess like we all like really still got each other's backs and still really looking out for each other. We all still take care of each other. If somebody needs something financially, usually they call you or Chaz Bass, but like like we all still got each other. So it's like that's the part right there that's pretty unique and decent about us. Like we definitely still I'm sitting there right now. So that's what let me copy this link real quick. Trying to get this podcast out there, everybody. Let's see. We got
as far as like mental health, that's such like a basic broad, topic. That's such a huge topic.
It really is
to try to cover.
It is. Hold on, let me see. There you go. That's the right one. So, but everybody is probably watching me on the Tiki of Talks. If y'all are still here, come through to the show. I didn't even put my own link in the description of my own show. I'm tripping. We should just follow. Okay. How are you doing today, Joy? Like I said, Basic is not here. When she comes back, I guess I'll let her explain it further. Did say it in the early part of the show. She had a death in the family, so she is not here this week, but she will be back. I promise. She will be back.
No, she's not.
She coming back. Don't be a hater. But anyway, so
you change that John to Mike or Marcus.
This whole flare and everything. Listen, all you got to do is just look like her right here at the bottom of the screen. You good to go.
Close
they probably
enough.
Thought that was. It's crazy because somebody probably thought she was Basic too.
I just need some lipstick.
Get everything going. All right, so now I guess trying to get more of a better question to you as far as that. So based off of what I was just describing and stuff like that, with your relationships, I'm not going to say, like I said, it's not necessarily the negative side of mental health of it, but just what's your mental approach to your relationship with the kids? Like what's your plan? Like how do you like when Maya's going through her changes and stuff like that, do you just keep it real simple, or do you like prepare yourself for certain things? And Bubba going through his changes and everything like that.
I mean, there's lots of things that I'm prepared for, but as far as how I maintain myself, it's just something that I'm constantly doing. I'm constantly working on things that I think about the things, the pillars that sort of support me, and my mental health and my overall wellness. And we all have different pillars. So it could be something like the studies, your passions, your hobbies, your home, the cleanliness of your home. You know, like there's so many different things that I'm kind of constantly working on. I like the way that I maintain my place adds so much to my mental health in that I can just sit back and relax for most of the day. You know, I don't have to worry about cleaning the floors and stuff or the dishes piling up, because I avoid taxing myself heavily on those things by taxing myself extremely small. So if I use a dish, I'll wash it immediately, and I've just gotten into like a habit of doing that. That's just like one thing that supports this mental attitude that I have for myself. The relationships that I have with people, the ways in which that I socialize greatly impact my mental health. The friendships that I maintain, my hobbies, my interests, like, you know, I got my toys and games and stuff behind me, all that stuff too. Like, it's like this giant package deal that I'm kind of just constantly maintaining, and it keeps me whole, so that when I enter with any connection that I have with another person, I'm not draining them, or I'm trying to minimize how much I'm draining them. So if you want to talk about, like, you know, you want to talk about things with like the kids, and how they're growing up, there's tons of things that I'm prepared for as I'm growing, but they are their own individual person, and I cannot predict the roads that they're going to travel. So there's always things that I'm trying to instill in them to best prepare them for when they reach those forks in the road, those heavy decisions. They can best make up their mind with you know, the given information and knowledge that I've tried to give them.
Beautifully said, good brother. Okay, so it feels more or less like your role to prepping them for the future is that you just trying to make sure that you maintain just how you do your personal life on an everyday basis, and how you take care of yourself and take care of your personal space and stuff like that, to kind of show them, okay, that's definitely like part of it, but specifically like with like the relationship that I have with my kids, I want them to learn ethics and humanity early. As they grow up, the thing that's going to impact them the most is the relationships that they have with other people, how to navigate those relationships with people in an ethical way, and just kind of having them have a broad sense of humanity as they get older, and not something that's like so pigeonholed with any sort of, say, different nationalities, colors, creed, relationship types, or, you know, like the gender spectrum, and even as far as physical and mental abilities and stuff like that. Like the more exposure that kids, because they're ultimately like, they're sponges, the more exposure that they have to the world, the more of a rounded person they will grow to be. Right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So I feel like when it comes to that, like, this is the same approach for me. It's just basically trying to, you know, show my daughter, like, that it's okay to, I guess for me personally, to work hard and travel your own path with what you want to do. Because I can't force her to be anything that she don't already want to be. Like, if she want to be whatever she want to be, I guess I'll just help her out with that avenue, not, you know, shut her down in life. You know, just teach her, you know, like, okay, I've made mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes in certain decisions that I've made, stuff like that. But you can overcome anything and push yourself past certain things, you know. Putting, and then on top of that, with me, I give her a little bit of responsibility, like I'll watch her, like, use all her money on something, or use all of something, you know, like, and then she'll be looking at me, and I'll look at her like, okay, kid, you just used everything. Like, I can't just
be replenisher if you haven't, you're just using it at, you got to learn how to basically maintain what you got, basically.
Yeah, you're not going to constantly enable.
Right. It's like giving it to her, then it's like she's going to know, like, okay, if I don't have anything, I'll just go to my dad and get something from my dad, or get something from my mom or grandpa or grandmom or somebody along the line. Somebody's going to always be there to kind of take care of her. And it's like, no, kid, you gotta push yourself to okay, this is where you stop. Like, all right, I've spent this amount of money. Let me stop right here and hold on to this. It's crazy because Gabby does that now. And it's like, she actually reminds me, like, I have $50 for her, right? She always remind me, how much money did I use, Dad? And I'll tell her, like, okay, you got this. All right. So now she'll know when she spend her stuff, she'll come back and then she'll remind me, like, hey, Dad, I got, like, as if I'm gonna spend the money or something. She'll be like, I got $42.23. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know that. But it's like, that's her starting to gain her own experience with stuff. So she knows when it's time for her to start watching her or playing her games and stuff, when she want her Robux or whatever else she wants.
I'm about to say, you might as well just open her bank account.
No, she does. She does have something, okay, but it's not necessarily with. I don't even know. I can open her a bank account, but it's like they kind of make it a little bit. They make it harder for me. I try to open them.
It's not going to be.
Her.
No. I mean, just opening a bank account, it would be like a student account.
What's up, Steph? How are you?
And you just maintain. You can control the card, whether you can shut that card down on, if it hits a certain amount and stuff.
Yeah, I gotta go to a different bank because I don't think transit workers allow that anyway. So,
probably not.
You mean have a kid account?
Well, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I can always do that. Oh, I forgot I was still on live. Get my ass back over here. Oops. All right, live ended. Anyway, so I just, like I said, just getting people on here. But I don't know, it's just fun kind of teaching her. Yes, them damn Robux. Yo, them Robux they know exactly how to hit your pockets. And I guess this is my favorite thing about my daughter is, like, she's still a kid. Even though she had her moments when she play around too much, and you got to kind of like, all right, kid, you need to chill the hell out. Like, she's still like a kid at heart. Like, she's still the little cutest thing ever. So it's like,
you act like you got a 20-year-old. Like,
Abby act like she a 20-year-old. Shit, like, do you know how she talk? And it's fun watching her grow up. That's the best part about it all. Like, it's just fun watching her grow into her own and just be this big silly kid. Like, and she loves, of course, Maya to death. Like, it is. You got to say, when you're not around, it's literally like, Dad, are we gonna go see Maya this week? And I'm like, Gabby, maybe. I don't know. It's like, it's a constant battle. She just loves Maya. So it's like, and just watching them have their own relationship, and it's just something that's just fun. So get those text messages and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I want to jump in.
But let's see. Last thing, and I guess we didn't really. You kind of answered it, but you didn't. I don't know if you talked about that in particular. But if you do not have to do this, I'm not even going to make this a point. How are you with your going into the partnerships with people and stuff like that when it comes to your mentality and with them?
Nigga, I don't know.
I'll be honest, for being in anything when it comes to a partner and everything, I would say those beginning stages are some of the most exciting times that you could possibly have with.
You're talking about like NRE, like when you like new relationship energy, you're starting a relationship. There's all the novelty and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always fun and exciting, Until like, y'all sleep together more often and you realize like people fart in they sleep and you're like, damn, this is the real you. Or like you wake up, both y'all heads be wrapped and you're like, damn, like
Right.
this us now. Like
Right. Oh, that's my boo.
this my
That's my
boo.
baby.
Oh my god.
And I'm gonna say this: people don't realize, like, you better bust your ass and fart. Like, don't hold that. I'll be sitting there watching you, like, all right, go ahead and keep wanting to go to the hospital because you want to hold that shit in. That's on you, because I'm gonna let the fuck loose at some point. Like,
No, I bust my ass in my sleep. I know I do. Don't nobody say nothing. I know I do. Like,
especially on one of those date nights that you know
but
kind of
yeah,
overdid with the stuff. Like,
so like it's just like when we talk about the maintaining of mental health and stuff in relationships, there's nothing really that's different. No matter how I'm connected to people, I'm still always doing the things that maintain and keep me whole, so that I don't tax people around me so much. And also it makes it easier for people to pour into me, you know. So like, you know, I have my partners, I have my loves, I have my friends, I have my family, my chosen family, and everybody is constantly pouring into me. I am cool.
Right.
Like I'm receiving from all over the place. And you know, I'm not monogamous, so I certainly don't look to one person to pour everything into me. That's another thing that's vastly different in how I'm, you know, in my relationships and stuff.
well, the one thing we're not gonna do on here is ask you the questions going to help monogamous people with their situation. We ain't gonna do that.
What you mean?
Just basically, like what you said, you're non-monogamous, so the questions would not that we're going to get a whole bunch of questions right now, but the questions will start flying with something like that. Like when you say I'm non-monogamous, and people, they get excited now. They already got the questions. Now you're forced to be.
But I don't think there's anything that I could say to a monogamous person that's like, I don't know. Like there's tons of things that are beneficial, but it's beneficial no matter what kind of relationships you have with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's tons of things that bits of information that you can give, help and tips and stuff like that. Right. Just like, you know, just talking about maintaining your mental health and the whole work on self thing. Like that's just something that should be maintained if you're single, in a monogamous relationship, non-monogamous, like whatever.
Right. So that I guess for me personally, that's what, you know, my approach to a relationship would be, what did I prepare myself for personally within myself, that even when I got to that point, I felt as though I was okay as a person beforehand. You know, like I got my parents in order. I keep my happiness. I keep maintaining the things that kept the smiles on my face for me. Not necessarily that I wasn't in a relationship with somebody, just what was making me excited, you know? Like, what's up, Tori? Tori Rodriguez. I guess those are the thinking caps.
You butchered that, John.
You get past the smoke and mirrors. Yes. But it's just like, I put it like this. A lot of people feel as though, I guess it's just like almost like an adult thing for some people. They feel like, I got to keep being better for relationships. And it's like, you don't have to keep being better for relationships. A person will come to you just you being your natural self and happy. You know, like if you're a happy overall person, you can attract people that way, where it doesn't mean like, I was prepping myself for relationships. And it's like, well, it's more to you than just that relationship. Like,
yeah, I haven't sought a relationship.
Right.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Since like, I don't know, maybe like 2019. I can't even remember with who. But like, yeah, I always say it's kind of like interesting
What's going
how
on?
I end up in relationships because I'm not really like I don't really look. But also too, it's like I'm active in the community. So I frequent spaces and you know, you see the same people. That's like the core to even building friendships with people. It's literally just appearing in the same places multiple times. Like if you go to the library, chances are you're gonna strike a friendship with somebody because of the library. Like you're frequenting the same space. And most people that do something like that have very similar interests. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be the same genre of book, but you both there's something in the library that's a connecting interest. Yeah, so I go to a lot of events, I do things, I see people, and I cross paths with people. I actually have 2 anniversaries coming up next week, but my first anniversary, we've known each other and crossed paths for like probably 8 years, and it wasn't until like last year we're like, hey, like let's have like coffee and stuff. We just ended up going to breakfast, and you know, just kind of like a few months into that, we just like struck a relationship. Like, hey, like let's do this. Like we're cool. Let's call this that, and move forward from there. You know.
Right. Okay. I will say one thing for you personally before I answer for myself. One thing I gotta know about him is that he's very, very private. So even him telling me what he's telling me right now is stuff that I don't even know. Like, but
I don't think I'm a private person.
You're private about.
I think I'm very open with a lot of stuff. But see, I'm not the type of person that just like volunteers information that's what I mean. Irrelevant to the conversation that we're having.
That's what I mean. I don't mean in the sense of you're open if the questions is asked, but you're not just. We all do the same thing. Everybody in our circle do the same thing. I'm not going to volunteer information for you if you don't ask it. It's not like I'm just be like, hey guys, guess what I did Tuesday. Like, no. I mean, we will do that sometimes.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, but we don't just go and just say things. But like, your privacy is your privacy. So it's not like if we ask questions, you'll probably say yes or no or whatever the case is. Like, nah, I ain't doing all that or whatever the case is. But
yeah,
like no one is just going. I don't know what that was, story that you typed in there. He's privately open. Go.
I have this sign that's like green and just says "don't" on it, like just a green "don't" sign, like
right. So, I don't know. I want to know if I want to answer. You're good. I'll just take what you were saying. So, I don't even answer nothing. I would say, here was a little bonus question just to kind of throw it off.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we want to talk about the younger days because that's going to obviously go back to the bullshit. But
I was talking to somebody recently about like how I used to be. You know, it's crazy. I have very bad memory issues, and my memory issues go back like forever. My early 20s, I used to cheat with a bad memory. It's the dumbest combination. It was like the worst combination you could possibly have. It was just like, oh my gosh, like really? Yeah.
Terrible. Oh, to answer your question, Bass, you can type it in the comments if you want. I'm eating cherries. I don't know why I'm eating cherries. A whole big ass bag full. Don't laugh. I'm fucking these cherries up. These joints thick as shit. Fucking.
Hey, yo.
Anyway.
Hey, yo, that was wild. No, that was wild.
That was a pause. All right.
Busting open them thick ass cherries. That was wild. No, that was wild.
Yeah, that was wild. All right. All right. That was a pause moment. All right, so I was actually going to ask you about that. It's funny because in my 20s, I was in a relationship. you was too, but like you said, your situation was a little different. Now, transparency moment. I've never physically cheated on my daughter's mother when we was together. What's going on, Jess? Welcome to this side of things, Jess. And I know who this is. You know who Meow is? Think about it.
Just looking at the avatar, I can kind of guess.
Mr. ZM himself.
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually. What was I about to say? I forgot what you were talking about.
We were talking about the early.
Oh, I didn't physically cheat.
Oh, no.
Okay. Go ahead.
No. I'm actually alluding to something. I feel as though we were very toxic to each other early. And y'all have talked to me. Y'all have told me some things. It was a tick for tack with me and her. It was like she did something and I felt as though, okay, I need to go. I want to be a cherry when I
Hey yo. Tory Wow, yo. Tory Wow. This is a PG program.
Motherfuckers not. So basically we were just I would say extremely immature. I was addicted to that woman. Like I never wanted to. I'm being honest. I'm just being honest. Mm-hmm. I was addicted to that woman. Like I didn't know how to. It's like to me, being in that relationship was like I seen a future. Maybe I seen something that really probably wasn't there, but I seen something. So I maintained and stayed in it as long as I possibly could, which we probably shouldn't have been together past a certain point. But it was a tick for tack with our relationship, and even though I haven't physically been with somebody, I still mentally, emotionally cheated. You know, I still was going out and talking to people, getting numbers and shit, knowing I shouldn't have them, and talking to them. If I was slicker, I probably could have done something with somebody, but I was trash at it. You know, I left the messages wide open. Back then, we ain't have what we got now. You can remember back then you could go on the website and see who was texting who. Like that's how deep it was.
One time I left my watch, and this is crazy. I had a smartwatch back then because this had to have been like, I don't know, 2014 or something.
Okay.
I left my damn watch on the table, and the messages went from my phone straight to the watch. Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, you
stupid,
fucked up.
Stupid. Just stupid. Stupid.
But those lessons that was learned then, coming out of that relationship, that was the craziest experience of my life. Coming out of that relationship, because I had no fucking clue what to do with myself. I've never had money like that alone to myself, because when we were together, we did everything together. So a lot of the times I would spend my own money, and she would notice how much I was spending, and then have an issue with it depending on how much of it I was spending.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, because everything was about the household and what we were doing and shit like that, but I just wasn't smart enough. You know, like she was out there doing her and having her fun. Remember when it was a time where she would travel and do some things, and I wouldn't even paying it no attention. Like she would just go to Miami for a weekend, like I'm going for a wedding, but you really going to have fun. Did something fall behind me?
I don't remember them times like that, so I don't know.
Yeah, you never really had to deal with shit like that, possibly. So
no.
Yeah, your situations was a lot different. But yeah, that's pretty much the issue that I was dealing with, like at that time. So I would say I was reckless. I was everything. Like, and when I got to 2015 and 2016 and stuff like that, I had to learn to be by myself. Bad money decisions, just spinning up on everything. Not taking care of the home that I should have been taking care of and shit like that the right way. Just don't know how much dumb shit, man.
It's so funny. This kind of ties into the original question with mental health and stuff like that. you had mentioned, coming out of a relationship, not knowing what to do with yourself and stuff. There is a correlation between, I'll just frame it like this. Suicide rates for men go up in the late 40s. And it is largely due to, I don't want to say it's a causality, but it's certainly a correlation with people being in relationships for so long and then leaving the relationships and not knowing how to connect with the world. They have no clue. They've invested all the time and largely, hold up, because we can say that may be a thing with women, but men, on the other hand, especially patriarchal men, never really had the tools to begin with. But yeah, you'll see suicide rates increase, and it's largely due to that, with the ending of long marriages and relationships and just not being able to connect, or like mentally, socially, spiritually, survive.
Right. I would say, like, just as far as sharing that, I can see what you're saying. I probably was everything that you're saying as far as that, dealing with the end of that relationship.
You weren't. I mean, when did y'all start dating? You were like 18, 19 or whatever. Y'all wasn't together that damn long, for real. Like, I'm talking about relationships that have gone 20 plus years.
Oh, of course. But when you still, like, when you've invested 10 years with that person and then there's a child involved, Gabby, that's really,
y'all together 10 years?
Yeah. Almost 10. It was eight and a half, almost 9.
I think we're old, because I feel like
the fuck we are. We've been adults, like you said before. We've been adults longer than we've been children.
Wait.
We dated. I was 20.
10 years means like 28, I was 20 years old. 29.
Yeah. I had Gabby when I was 27. We broke up when Gabby was 2, turning 3. So I was about to almost 10 years. Yep. 2014. We were together from 2006 to 2000.
God, that don't make sense. That's not making sense in my brain.
We didn't officially.
I had Bubby at 29.
In 2015. Right?
Yeah.
We broke up in 2014.
I was married a second time in 2015.
It seems what he's talking about his memory. That Jordan is like a link arrow. Just pull that bitch back hard as shit. Shoot that bitch off. Your memories the fuck shot. That Jordan. I'm fucking with you, but
no, it's definitely part of my neurodivergence. Like I don't like my perception of time as events pass. I don't feel the passage of time in the same way. I can't recollect it the same way a lot of other people do. Right. So for me, imagine like you have a ribbon on a spool and you pulling it past you. That's time passing. And when something happens, you put a mark on that piece and it keeps going. And you put another mark when something else happens. Well, people can look back at that ribbon and see like, oh, okay, that's the amount of time that happened between that. They can almost envision it. But for me, when it passes, it's sandwiched to like, it doesn't like imagine all these events happening and it doesn't feel like time has passed between it. Right. Like, you know how you ever have a friend that you might not see in a long time, but when y'all meet up again, it feels like nothing ever, like no time had passed between. It could be like a year, it could be like 6 months. Right. And it's like, damn, it felt like y'all just picked right back up. Like a lot of the things in my past feel like that. Okay. I don't feel it doesn't. I don't. It's really hard for me to discern and feel the passage of time once things are behind me. So things feel sandwiched. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. But I've come to learn that about myself. So.
Right. Maybe just time and space is just moving a certain way for you.
It's just, well, I mean, I would argue it moves the same for all of us, but it's just that my perception of it.
Right.
Just like a lot of people, some people cannot time. Now I'm really good, which is why I'm punctual with timing the future.
Mhm.
A lot of people can like some people cannot time the future well. They're always late to things, or they're always like procrastinating, or not gauging how long it takes them to do something. Like, oh yeah, this will just take me like 5 minutes, and then it's like no, like 20 minutes later. It's just like, you know.
Mhm.
So we all have like little strange perceptions with things, and
Yeah.
mine is just affecting the past.
Right. So you think that you're moving so far forward that you have no time to think about your past?
No. It's not about how I think about it. It's how it feels to me. So, like, let's say there's somebody that I'm talking to, and this is something that I'm very upfront with. Like, say I'm talking to somebody and I'm getting to know them. It's like, hey, because of how my brain works, I can go weeks without hearing you and not realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, it would feel like we just talked yesterday.
Right.
That's like a thing with me. And you know, so some people, you know, well, before I understood that about myself, it's very understandable how somebody would get up in their feels about that. Like, oh, I haven't talked to you in like in a couple of days. Like, what's going on? Like, no, like me, my life is just it just keeps going, but it doesn't feel things don't feel that long ago in my head.
Right. So it's I would say in this for us, like in our group chat, we're always constantly communicating, so we don't get lost in the sauce all the time, because we're all in constant communication of whatever it is. Like whether we send a video picture, something to laugh at, or people start having conversations within a group chat. So our timing is almost daily, so we don't really pay attention to how much time we actually talk to each other. Physically is different, you know. Like I might not see you for like 2 months, but then we'll get next to each other and it's like nothing is, like you said, nothing has ever really passed. You know, like maybe I might come in and be fatter or something like that, you know, but like nothing really passed. Like it just kind of pick up where things left off. I think the biggest thing we all of us haven't done together is all be in the same space at the same time. Me, you, Charles, Metz, Tom.
Oh,
we haven't
yeah.
been in the same space in years. So I can see like with that, but like with somebody that you're probably talking to, or whatever the case is, I think I've had moments where it's like I won't talk to somebody for a long period of time, and then next thing you know, they're like, "Well, you ain't hit me up in about like a month," and I'm like, "What? I'm at work. I'm here. I'm whatever."
First off, why you clocking time and not like you also can pick up the phone? Like, you know.
True, that's true. But then it's like, so I don't like to play those type of. Me personally, I don't like to play those type of games where it's like, oh, you ain't say nothing to me, you ain't do shit. I might play around like in a fun way, but I'm not serious about none of that stuff. Like if I don't talk to you, bro, I'm like, oh, okay, we're just going to update each other's life. In my personal opinion, we're going to update each other's life. Unless I set, like I've had people tell me, yo, you said you was going to hit me back, or you was going to do this, you ain't never say nothing to me. Oh, my bad. Like that's when I was like, oh shit. And then you know, I might have pissed somebody off in that moment. I'm like, fuck. Oh well, let me continue on my day, because I know that's just me now. I hate feeling like being in a certain space for a long period of time. So it's like, if I didn't
Put it in your phone as a note.
so I'm gonna have to start doing.
That's what I do. I do that with
alarm.
everything now. Like I'm very forgetful. So every time if there's something that I have to do or something that I told somebody, it immediately goes into the phone. Boop, 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 boop.
Right.
It just keeps me on track with everything.
Right. Okay. All right. So we kind of both like really sat on the relationship side of things, or your mental health as far as that. I guess for me, what I would say, I'm not a therapist and not anything like that. Check yourself at your own doors before you get into relationships, like, or with anyone in any capacity. Yes, that does explain a lot, Jess. Quietness. Anyway, and what I mean by that is, if you know you're not in a good space mentally and stuff like that, and you're in a space of negativity, don't just bring that to your kids. That is something that has been done for years and years and years. You can wind up getting mad at them for something that they're innocently doing. They just being their natural selves and who they are. And it might be that one day where something annoys the hell out of you. You might say something that might ruin your and your kids' relationship forever. Like, it can happen. like because of you being mad or whatever the case is. You just never know, like how you can feel is how you can feel, but you don't know how someone else is feeling. And if you just go into there and start going off the rails and whatever, they don't forget certain things. There's things I still remember to this day about my mom.
How would you know?
What?
My thing is like when you're in like those negative spaces and the adverse reactions and stuff like that, like how do you know? How do you discern that what you're doing is appropriate and stuff like that? Because people are conditioned, people have been conditioned, especially in the older generations, they've been conditioned to accept that certain levels of discipline is acceptable. So they might not see their reaction as being a bad thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like stopping yourself and actually thinking before you do. Like I think that's just really where I'm at. I can imagine that's where but you always in constant thinking. So it's like I'm always in constant thinking. Like I'm one of those people that I literally know, okay, I'm gonna have Gabby this weekend. Think of everything. Do the whole 9 yards. How much money I got for her as far as what me and her going to do. Like how much, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to play a game with her? Am I going to do this? I literally think of everything I'm going to do with Gabby.
Oh no, not me.
But you know, you think about certain things. Like, you know, if you want to
there's things that I might plan out.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people ask me all the time, oh, what you doing with the kids this weekend? I don't know. We want to watch horror movies and play video games. Like,
so that's for me because Gabby's the only child. It's different because she finds her own things to do, but she by herself. So eventually she's gonna stop and stare at me like this. Like she always do it. She'll stop and stand there and just stare at me. And I'm like, what's up, kid? And she's like, what we about to do? And it's like, all right, now I know this is something that I just gotta prep for myself because eventually Gabby gets bored. And if she ain't talking to Maya and she playing on her phone or she playing a game or something, it's time for me to do what I've always done and step up and it's time to go do something, Gabs. I'll go take her out and go eat, something like that, or we'll go. I remember taking her over to the Plains Landing, just letting her walk around there and look at the stuff over there and stuff. So she, she has like, it's times where I got to plan things with her because that's just how Gabby is for me personally.
Yeah, kids.
So, yeah.
Kids are active. They want to be active and
super goddamn active.
They get into whatever.
Mm-hmm. So just checking yourself at the door for everything: relationships, kids, partners, family, friends. Shit. Imagine one of the hardest things to mentally prep yourself for, to me personally, is mentally prep yourself for having conversations with your mom that might be toxic.
Nah, man, the hardest thing I gotta prep myself for is ordering food on the phone. I don't like using my phone. I don't like talking to strangers. Doing that brings me anxiety.
You won't call them and order it? You just
Hell no. I have not patronized businesses that do not have online ordering. Straight up. Like, it's like, oh, you just got a phone number? This archaic ass system. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Like,
I got you, man.
I want to type it in my phone, and then like 20 minutes later, I see a pizza slide under my door, no contact. Like, I'm good.
You see the pizza slide under the door with the hands, and your fucking hands slam down on top of it and grab his in the pizza box and pull that bitch up. You pull it back with the cash in his fucking hand and shit, like fucking savage way of eating. I got you. All right, moving on. So we also one of the topics I want to talk about, kind of let you have the floor with it, is I guess Black culture now and what's going on with crime in particular. Like, what for you personally, what would you consider, like, what is your views on what's going on right now as far as
what's going on?
Like crime, and it's like, okay, so for instance, the city of Philadelphia, we all know, to me personally, know that news only going to project what you want to see 24/7 and stuff like that. But when you're outside and actually seeing it and hearing it, stuff like that, our murder rate is at a It's at a high right now. It's getting up there. Starting to look a little 1990, what, 1 or 2-ish or something like that.
No, statistically, the U.S. has declined in murder rates for the past 35 years, since like 1992. It's been on a steady
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, 1992. But we do have a lot of murders this year.
Sure, but that's only because we have a high population of people. When you have a high population density, you're going to have a high crime rate. So when you adjust for the population per 100,000, like let's just say that number, you'll see that things are very I don't want to say even, but in a lot of places. Like when you start looking at per capita, you'll notice that a lot of the big cities are just as violent as the countrysides.
Right.
And so the perception that we're fed is like, oh, this demographic of people or whatever are like dangerous, and that's because that makes them money to say that. So like I never buy that whole route, especially talking about like crime and stuff. And this is stuff that's been said forever. We know how crime is directly linked to poverty. And then all right, even something else with gun statistics, gun deaths, suicide has been has taken more lives with guns every year since we've charted it, except for I think like 1972 and 1973. More people die by suicide with guns than by murder, but you never hear about that. And that's partly because they only want you to focus on one thing, and the other thing is they don't give a fuck about mental health. You know, like they don't care.
Right.
They don't care. Like we need to stop having these pigeonholed conversations around gun violence and violence in general, when a lot of this stuff is systemic. You can look at individual people and talk about individual cases and stuff like that, but when you're talking about a macro level issue, you have to talk about the macro level mechanisms that are more responsible for it than others.
Okay.
We have an issue with crime because we have an issue with poverty. We have an issue with poverty because it is a function of capitalism. So we shouldn't even begin to talk about crime until we start talking about the deconstruction of capitalism. Because once that falls, you'll see how everything else begins to fall down the line.
Okay.
You knew I was gonna get on this pedestal shit.
I'm gonna get on it.
I said you knew I was gonna get on it. You knew it.
Yeah, that's why I let you go ahead, and that's why I said let you take the reins on this shit. But I do think that it is something that's more focused on than anything where I know there's other shit that's going on. You know, there's still cases of rape out here in this world that isn't being charted as much as gun violence is. There's still, like you said, suicide. There's still police brutalities that are happening that aren't being charted, you know, or being put front news. It has to be, hey, we seen this happen almost, and now this is a case of it, you know, like somebody has to record it for us. I do know that there are guys on Instagram and certain things like that, you know, the No Gun Zones and some of those guys that are actually going around the neighborhoods themselves and recording it and catching it in its act. You know, people still, you know, at least it's for Black people, you know, and what's going on with us. They're going around to neighborhoods and seeing the things that are happening, and they're documenting it and posting it on their page for awarenesses and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of them are trying to teach lessons, and maybe that's actually a problem because a lot of those guys are older, so you already know how it is as far as those Gen X's and some of those.
I've never seen anything like that, but it makes me think of when I see people online videotaping something that they're doing as a way of being humane, like giving a houseless person $100 or whatever, and I see themselves recording it, and then I have to question, like, why are you recording something like that? And it always comes back to, I think that a lot of people do it for entertainment value. They do it for clout. So it makes me question, why would somebody be going around neighborhoods trying to catch and film violence, even if they are of my community, and it not be for entertainment and clout?
Right.
Like, who is benefiting from that? There's tons of organizations that exist in cities that are, anti-violence. They be on the corners and stuff. I remember at Chew and Shelton, they shut that intersection down for hours. That was right there. It was this whole biker gang that came out. It was a whole anti-violent protest. Like that stuff happens. It doesn't, and people aren't, like, those organizations aren't recording themselves and putting it on there for clout or trying to run around the neighborhood to catch people in the act of, like, doing crime. Tons of security cameras and stuff, all that stuff exists. Like, it already exists now. It just makes me question the motives of, like, why somebody would be pushing something like that. It's the same I see. It's like a trend of people that now go down to Kensington and they film people on drugs and they film the neighborhood and stuff like that. They offer no social commentary. They offer nothing about the systemic issues that have been plaguing that area for decades now. I can only imagine that they're doing it for clout. They're doing it for entertainment. They're doing it so their comment section can say, "Hey,
Bam.
Look at the zombies."
Yes.
Like that. Like that's the only reason that they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. I thought that exactly because I'm one of those guys that immediately go to the comment section outside of watching the video. Because I'm gonna tell you this now: the internet will show you. To me, when you see the comments and stuff, you'll see one of, like, three things. You'll see, how would I say? You'll see grief, not grief, but, like, sympathy for the situation, just a little bit. But for the most part, you'll see people judging these people and saying things about these people, and then you get the ones that just. I'll probably tell them people about themselves, like, "Yo, why would you post something like this? Why would you do this? Why would you do that?" For the most part, people treat it like a joke. And most people, what is the number one thing people think? I feel like a lot of people suck into is negativity. They love when there's something bad or something wrong going on because it's easier to talk about.
It's spectacle. Everybody likes a train crash,
Right.
And it's not new. we had Faces of Death, Rotten.com. We've had Ogrish. We've had all that stuff growing up. It's spectacle.
Rotten.com. Oof.
Hell, they used to lynch people back in the day and put it on postcards and send it to their relatives. It's spectacle. They used to make an entire day of lynching black people, for fun. It's spectacle. There's something about, like, I don't know if it's the human condition or what that just draws people to that type of negativity and suffering and negativity, really.
Right. Hold on, I gotta look and see how many cherries I ate.
Damn. Yo, you went to the store. Like, that was a conscious decision. I was in the fruit section, skimming, just like,
I had 22 cherries.
Let me fill this bag real quick with these plump ass cherries.
Look at the comment, yeah.
Hey. Boy, that fruit gonna blow through you.
Listen, I had 22 cherries. That's how many cherries I had. I just counted.
Poland blow.
Hey, look, it is what it is. As long as I'm not sitting here engulfing the cheesesteak right in front of everybody, which sounds amazing right now. Yeah, I think that we, it's so much more to just seeing that people out here killing each other and doing stuff. It's like, I guess.
And can we stop trying to relate crime to culture? That has got to be one of the most white supremacist talking points. Like they're constantly trying to say, "Oh, well, you know, it's something about the black culture that makes the..." No, it is not. Everybody is freaking violent. You like if we're gonna have this conversation and try to blame it on culture, we know that 40% of cops are domestic abusers. What is it about cop culture? We don't have conversations about cop culture when we know statistics like that are so high. If black people made up 40% of anything, culture would be the top talk of the town.
Yeah.
Culture would be the talk of the town.
Yeah. You know what makes me think different all the time with that is that when I do go, like when you go out to places or whatever the case is, and you see gathers and bunches of people, I think that one of the saddest parts about it, which is not fair, like imagine when you go to a Dundee festivals and stuff like that, and there's Black Culture Festival, and the only thing people can think about is who's going to pull out a gun and shoot. That's sad. Like, it's like, bro, people really might be here to just have fun. Ain't nobody here to just always try to pull out something and shoot somebody. Like, this is a Black Culture event. That shit happens, yes, but you don't think that stuff happens at other places too? You know, like, come on now.
Damn place.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Don't, you know, like, so it can happen anywhere. You know, like, I do feel like I've been at places and stuff like that, and the last thing I was thinking about is, yo, somebody gonna pull out a blicky and get the blasting at me. You know, like,
I don't have them thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. That's the last thing that I'm thinking about. I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about that at all.
Places to think about. We're going
Yeah.
pull up.
Yeah.
If it
but also-
happens, I'm gonna act accordingly. But
You know what I mean? Listen, you gonna see my arms go behind my back and I'm Sonic speed, brother. No, I'm too big to be doing that, first of all.
knees blow out third step.
Pretty much. But oh my god.
You hear the bass line from Escape from the City. It's like and you just like try to take off. Pow! Oh,
Fall and bump your fucking knee all up like. But anyway, all right, so we kind of just pushed on that. I'm gonna ask you this, and this is gonna be a fun question. What is one of your favorite things to do in Black culture? And what I mean by Black culture is maybe learning about maybe newer things that we're doing, different events or something like that, or maybe something that's being brought to the light maybe of the past that isn't necessarily negative. Like, not negative. I don't mean by negative, but like, we're not just talking about slavery. I feel like every time somebody talk about the past of Black people, it's like, oh, remember when y'all were slaves? Like, no, I think there's way more to us than just that.
So for me, being Black is everything that I do is Black and is of Black culture.
Right.
Everything I do. So when you talk about the funnest things, is literally just me having fun. Me having fun while Black is Blackness. That is Black culture. So, you know, the fact that me and a group of my friends, we can go out, enjoy ourselves, have a good time, not think about too much of like what's going on, being able to carve out that safe space in space and time, that's Black as fuck. That is damn near a revolutionary act, and that is culture.
Okay, so I agree with you 100%. I feel like when I think of what Black culture is for me, is in a similar base as like, I guess it's whatever I'm making it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to think about just the negative things that we're going. Do I hold it with me like a shield? Yes, because I know what happened. But at the end of the day, how can I create something that helps us go forward? And how can I show these kids? Like, I feel like who we are now, we're starting to become legends in our own right, because our kids get to see things that's about us that they're going to be able to just hold on to them. Because you ever just feel like your kids laugh at things that we did or we whatever for us, but like watching, how about when they sit there and watch a Goofy movie and they feel what we felt, you know what I mean, as kids, Black kids watching a Goofy movie and feeling like you was fucking what was the dude's name from
Powerline.
Powerline. When you feel like Powerline, they get to experience this stuff now and following the footsteps of what we did and what we experienced as kids. You know, like the way that we had fun. They're able to unite with each other through gaming and do certain things. Like we had that. We went on a lot more adventures as kids, like outside, but
Yeah.
we shield these little bastards now. Like it is what it is. We shield them. But we did a lot more outside and stuff like that, but we created something that's for us. That's why it's not like for a lot of people, we're not just the regular nerds or black nerds because the way we did things.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's just an entirely different day. Our kids grew up through a pandemic. Our kids grew up through a global shutdown. So I don't exactly like to buy into the narrative of juxtaposing, the exposures that we had as kids versus, the exposures that our kids now have, because I think there's a lot of survivor bias that creeps its way into that. The same way, like, you might hear Gen Xers and boomers like, oh yeah, we used to drink from the garden hose and stuff. I'm like, that is survivor's bias, because a lot of kids died doing that. Like, not everybody made it through. You made it through and you're lucky enough, and you're trying to make that was the standard, and like you're playing up something that doesn't need to be played up. Like, y'all had way less safety regulations. It's like and environmental regulations. You ever see a baby seat from like the 60s and 70s? That
I don't remember it.
It looks like the swing. You know the swing ride that be at like carnivals? That's like the chain that.
Yeah.
So there's a metal bar that you lift up and it's connected to the chain. Like that carriage looks like the old car seats from like the 60s and 70s. And so like I can't imagine a boomer being like, oh yeah, like this was the kind of stuff that we like. No, like 1 in 4 babies that got in an accident died in that seat. You are just displaying survivor's bias because you survived that era.
Right.
So I don't always buy into that the narrative of like pitting certain things against. It's just times are different. Time changes. It always has. That is the one thing that you can put money on that is going to happen. Change. It's an inevitable thing.
Well, I never heard of it. I never seen like an old car seat before.
Oh yeah. If you look it up, you're like, damn, like that wasn't keeping nobody safe. It wasn't like it'd be better if the kid wasn't even like strapped into that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never seen them things, so I can imagine they probably look like they probably look wild as hell.
They're like a metal basket. Like it's wild.
I feel you. Okay, so I would say, like, I guess what my meanings as far as like kids seeing what we've had and stuff like that is just that it's almost like sometimes living in the eyes of what your parents seen or something like that. So they almost like Gabby never wanted to watch certain movies that I grew up on. I would try to like show her like, look, Gabby, watch this. She was like, nah, I'm good. But then now she's watching the movie. Her favorite show on TV right now is Step by Step.
Oh my God.
You know,
Gabby,
Gabby
you even get access to that. What is it? Oh, it's on Netflix. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
I don't have Netflix.
She watched that. When I say she knows Grease, the movie, by heart, because Gabby, one thing about her, she's like you said, Gabby is very like, she does things over and over and over again until she like got it. Like she's compulsive in a way too. Like Gabby will. She loves like certain things, and when she loves it, she wants you to see it. That's the part. Gabby like, hey dad, come watch this with me. Like, all right, watch that with her. Then she come back again, and she'll be rewinding parts and stuff. I'm like, that's a
you need to show her up. If she loved Grease, you got to learn the hand jive or whatever that dance was called.
The dance is soft. I wouldn't be surprised if she don't know it.
Like I know she know it, but you gotta show her up and show that you know that too.
I don't know.
I be doing that with my kids all the time. I be doing all the BTS dances, and I do it better than BTS, right? They're not gonna say nothing, but they're probably gonna lie.
Well, yeah, you used to be killing it, so I can imagine you still know how to do a little bit, but them knees gonna pop. Anyway,
They have.
man, clap them damn knees trying to make a TikTok video. That video never surfaces because she was in the hospital. But she knows like all the songs. Like she watches that. She was watching Schoolhouse Rock like it wasn't nothing. She knows all the songs from Schoolhouse Rock. Like, and I guess it's because her grandmother has to sit back watching it. Like she's one of those kids that will watch like the classics. Like I feel like once she runs into The Wiz, oh my god, she probably gonna lose herself if she really sit back and watch The Wiz. Like
That's my
she's
jam.
but she's like into older shows and stuff like that, like how we were. So like it's like I told her, I was like, Gabby, watch Goof Troop. I mean Goofy. I said Goof Troop, a Goofy movie one day, and I want to see what you think of that.
Yo,
And just see-
Wiz had me in my feelings. I had a weekend where I did acid from like Friday to Sunday, and I watched The Wiz what had to have been 30 times back to back. I just kept noticing details and stuff that I hadn't. Like I'm sitting here, I watched it so many times that I know when individual dancers mess up the choreography and at what parts. Like I'll watch the scene and then go back and watch it again and focus on another person. And mind you, I did that whole thing just on acid. Like it was ridiculous.
Did you feel like when you was doing that? Did you feel the time going by, or did it all feel like a blur in a way?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. It's like,
Okay. Oh, I know that your dad. Like I know that you. Your
oh,
dad
that's
is a singer.
amazing.
Like, she can
There's
sing, singer, bro. I think her dad is like a bass guitarist. What does he do?
there's actually a video. You gotta scour YouTube for it, but someone actually had a handheld camera in the audience during the Broadway run of The Wiz with Stephanie Mills, and they found the tape, converted it, and uploaded it to YouTube. Now the quality isn't that great, but it's just the fact that somebody was able to do it. It's almost like you're literally looking back in time, and there's, as far as I know, there's no recording of that production during that time. So it's really cool to see. Stephanie, you might see your pops.
Right.
Yeah, like you might see your dad.
Right.
But you gotta dig through YouTube. I found it a few years ago, and I haven't looked for it since. I watched it and I was like, okay, that's something to ingest.
Okay. All right, hold on. I have a fun topic that's coming up. I'm about to put one up right now, and you gonna crack the hell up when I post this up here too. But we're gonna switch over to something. Unless you have anything else you want to add to it, or
Nah.
So I didn't throw this in the title, but I did it on purpose, and I'm gonna just start it off with this. He said I named after her. Yeah, Stephanie Mills. Yeah, you did tell me that stuff. You did tell me that you was named after her. He said my dad did it in the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll add something to this, and we're gonna have a topic or segment where we're gonna talk about our movies, or I guess who is the real villain of these movies.
Oh, I got nothing to say on that.
When you see it, what I mean by it is like you'll be like, okay, this nigga, like, all right, hold on. I'm trying to find the picture. I'm gonna post it up here, and then. All right, so We're gonna start it off good. I'm picking this movie, and you most likely, hopefully, you remember it. But who was the real villain of this movie when we were young boys? You don't remember the movie?
I remember parts.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and I actually wanted to watch. I actually wanted to watch that again recently.
And see,
but
like,
yeah.
what was the, I guess, all right, to me, I would say it was most likely, I don't know, it's not a lot of details about it. If anybody can remember the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
John Leguizamo's character was annoying in that.
Luigi.
Yes. He was, like, in love with the princess and all this other stuff, but a lot of the stuff he did, however, in the movie, he the one who put Mario and everybody in a bad situation by chasing after her and doing all other shit. Like, she probably shouldn't even have got captured the way that she did if it wasn't for him.
Yeah,
Because he had her offer her square in this movie. Like, I'm getting text messages from friends.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie like that.
All right. Maybe then. Okay. Do you remember Friday?
Yeah, I remember Friday.
Okay. So if you had to think of Friday, who would be your person from the movie Friday? Who in that movie was like the real problem of that movie to you?
Dog. I don't know. You gotta be thinking hard about that stuff. I don't like. It's like I remember the movie, but I don't remember the intricacies of the relationships and stuff that
Feel like you need something newer.
Something newer.
Yeah.
Say, I don't know. You could try something newer.
That you probably okay. So more recently, the new Mario Brothers movie.
Dog, I saw that in theaters and can't answer that.
Damn. And you seen it twice, right?
No, I only seen it once. But the real villain of the movie, it was Bowser. Who else would be considered the villain in that film? Like,
Fuck. Yeah, I'm kind of stumped on that one. It would probably just be Bowser.
Yeah.
Well, Mario 2.
Was the real villain?
Yeah, he's the one that put Luigi in the situation he was in. Luigi actually could have been checked if it wasn't for. Remember, Mario was the one that wanted to go in the sewer and save the day.
I think Luigi would be poor and destitute if it wasn't for Mario.
Yes, no doubt. But it's a you know.
Yeah, they got into their issue for the sake of plot, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that Mario is the true villain of the film.
His ass is. He was so hyped and like, yo, we gonna go save the world. Let's go in this fucking sewer and let's go fix this pipe. But whole time, curiosity killed the cat. Luigi put himself in a situation he gonna fly into a pipe and got his ass knocked into Bowser's world, got tortured, got his mustache ripped off and shit, almost thrown in lava. Like, yeah, boy went through it.
And you trying to pin it on Mario what Bowser put Luigi through? Like, that is crazy, dog. You toxic, no.
This is the bull's fault. It was all him. It was all on him. But all right, I wouldn't even know where else to go at with it. It's a little fun. I don't know, just a little fun topic to talk about. Oh, you probably don't remember The Fifth Element. You remember it, but you don't remember anything about it.
I be remembering these movies, but I cannot tell you, like, thinking about it in that regard, who's the actual villain of the film. I think for a lot of films that doesn't even it's like not much of a thing. But I mean, I've seen the memes. I know some of the references that people talk about.
Do you don't remember that movie? The line between love and hate. You don't remember that. Well, that ends that segment really quick because I feel like a lot of.
All right, I just looked up a meme, and so they have the villain as Killmonger, and the actual villain T'Chaka.
T'Chaka.
Yeah.
T'Challa.
No, T'Chaka, his dad.
Oh, that was his pop name. Okay.
Yeah, T'Chaka.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, yeah, T'Chaka really was
I agree.
like the bastard
Didn't
behind
he kill his
all
dad?
that. Like, huh?
He killed his pop and then left him there.
Not that he killed his pop, but like, yeah. You're talking about Killmonger's.
And he left him there, Killmonger by himself.
Somebody was talking recently about Marvel's trend that they're calling the Killmonger effect, where you take a villain who has very reasonable issues with what's going on, and then they all of a sudden make them a terrorist. And they were talking about Namor, and then in the new
Marvelous.
What is that called? The Skrulls.
You're talking about what is his name? From the Ant-Man movie?
No. The Marvel Invasion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that whole bit. But yeah, they call it the Killmonger effect, and I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Because like people that were like praising Killmonger and fanning over Killmonger, I'm like, okay, I get it. Michael B. Jordan's hot, but Killmonger as a character is not somebody worthy of praise.
Yeah,
he has valid criticisms, but he's got terrible answers. Like tons of villains. People be saying that all the time, like, oh yeah, I agree with this villain. It's like, no, you agree with the criticism of the world that they have. You should not be agreeing with the answers. Like, Killmonger has great criticism, yeah, but also he puts his hands on black women in the film. Like no.
So, how you feel about? So, what's your opinion on I got this fucking music playing in my head. Thanos.
What about him?
Motherfucker just wanted his idea of the world being peaceful is if you half everything straight down the middle.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird take.
That's a. What would you consider him to be?
He didn't even have a good criticism. Like, he didn't have a good that wasn't a valid or good criticism of the universe, and that was like a terrible answer to have. If you want to go with like, oh, like there ain't enough resources, like, well, why not just amplify the resources? Mm-hmm. Or I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. He was like, you call what?
And then like, like people that try to make those arguments now, like the eco-fascists and stuff like that, it's like, they're making these criticisms of like, oh, there ain't enough resources and stuff like that. It's like we have more than enough resources. You're just not critical of capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough for everybody's need, not everybody's greed.
Right. So I think people realize how much they try to say like, oh, we don't have enough of something, so everybody can agree with the underlying thing that they're trying to do.
With things like eco-fascists, they want to say like, oh, there isn't enough resources, so like basically these people shouldn't exist, so we can have more of the resources to ourselves. That's where underlying argument comes down to. That's why it's called eco-fascism.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing you don't call it homelessness, you call it houseless.
Yeah, because a lot of people are without a house. Like, what makes something a house versus a home?
Yeah. So a lot of houseless people.
There are houseless people that aren't homeless. There are houseless people that have jobs. The issue is a house.
Right. So I would say basically, like, we're probably gonna cut this show short, but I feel like with with them saying that stuff, they don't want to feed the world. You know, like, you know, they want to be able to. Everybody just want to capitalize, like you said, off of everything. So it's like, you're in a society now where you got to pay for water, you got to pay for, then they got to pay for air at this point. So you want,
Not yet, but it's coming. So
I'm surprised. But yeah, like all the stuff that we in, like, you know, you got to pay for cooling air, you got to pay for fucking lights, you got to pay for everything that, and then the light, you know, I don't know, you understand electricity a lot better than I do, but electricity is of the world, right? How much of it can you actually use that it destroy the world? You know?
electricity?
Mhm.
I mean, you can use as much electricity as you need, as long as we have the infrastructure to produce it. Like, you know, there's different ways to produce electricity. Some ways are extremely inefficient, and some ways are, you know, more efficient. You know, that's the reason why the coal burning and coal mining industry is becoming a thing of the past. It's extremely inefficient. It's like somewhere upwards of 85% loss in the production is just heat and electromagnetic radiation. It doesn't even become the electricity.
Right.
So you need to get away from that and make more efficient systems.
Right.
And, you know, we're pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and then that whole issue, global warming, and, you know, it's a big thing. It's a big thing we're not taking seriously enough. But I'm also one of those people that don't look at changing the individual practices of people, because we know that corporations are the biggest reason why things are happening the way it is. Like, this is objective, verifiable data, and we've yet to attack them on any of this stuff, or hold them, or at the very minimum hold them accountable. But then you're talking about, you know, living in a plutocracy and living in a capitalist, you know, system, and the intricate ties between corporations and government, and why that stuff isn't happening the way that it does, and cronyism and all other types of stuff. So much nuance.
Right. Well, y'all get some serious education with this guy. He be knowing this shit. I was just sitting there like, I don't know none of this shit. Like, I never really paid this stuff. Go deep into this stuff. Like, you know everything. Not everything, but you know what you need to know to have the conversation. So, but all right, we're going, you know, kill this episode, cut it short.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B. But B for Barkers, you know, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Good job filling in for my homie Lee. Even though she's not here, you know, thinking about you, miss. We'll text you in the future just to make sure y'all all right on y'all side and stuff like that. But everybody who's watched us, supported us, you know, like it, subscribe to us, follow us, all that other good stuff. And we'll be back here next week, next Saturday, 6 p.m. Hopefully Lee will be with me this time. Hopefully I will be here next time. No, I'll be here. But if Beef Barkers, of course, you know you can come back anytime you're ready, brother, and have the conversation with Miss Lee.
I got a quick question. Before we jump off. Is this your sexy ass beat playing in the background?
Yeah, that one is definitely not beat playing in the background, yeah. That shit fire. But I thought we gotta get more clips. I want to make an opening and stuff like that for us. So, but yeah. Next time Lee will be here, we probably get back to our. I don't know. She got more questions than I do. She always got questions. That's the part about her, that she got way more questions than I do. She always, you know exactly what to ask and stuff. So, but yeah, next week we'll be back here. We'll let you guys know the topics in the middle of the week. So, all right, big man, I'm about to end this broadcast, but y'all have a good one.
Peace.